Hello friends, in this lecture we are going to learn how to write our very first C program in Windows operating system using VS Code IDE. So let's get started. We have already installed VS Code in one of our previous lectures. So if you have installed VS Code properly, you should be able to see a VS Code icon like this in the desktop. Or if you go to your start menu, you can type VS Code here. Visual Studio Code. You can see your app here as well. So anyways, you can just click on this link, or you can just click on this link to open up your Visual Studio Code. So let me just click on this to open up my Visual Studio Code. Alright, so this is the default home page, getting started page that is being loaded for me. This is my default page for VS Code. Now we need to first of all create a workspace for actually writing all our codes. So workspace is nothing but a folder wherein we will be dumping all our codes in that particular folder. So first thing first, we need to open a new folder, right? So you can just click on this open folder that's available here in the screen, or you can go to file and then create a new folder, right? So file, then just click on open folder. Okay, so let's say that we would like to save all our codes in our desktop folder. Inside desktop, let's create a new folder and then save all our program here. So I go to desktop here, I right click here and then just create a new folder, and this is the workspace for me. This is the folder wherein I'll be putting all my codes. So let me give name of this folder as my underscore code. So this is a folder, you can give it as any name. So in this folder, my underscore codes, all my codes would be residing. Okay, so select folder. Select folder. Now VS Code will open with my codes folder configured as the workspace. Alright, so if you just minimize this screen, you should be able to see this my codes folder available in the desktop, which is empty for now. There's nothing in this folder. We're going to create or write our very first C program into this folder. Let's close this. Let's get back to our VS Code. This is our VS Code. Now this is my codes is already open here. So the top one, if you just look at this at the left hand side, top left hand side, there is something called as Explorer. Click on this. Okay, you will be seeing my codes here. Now you need to create a new file. Okay, so how do you create a new file? It's very simple. You can just go to file, new file. You can do it this way, or you can go to your my codes in the Explorer. You will be seeing this link, the first link to create a new file. Just click on this. Okay, now it will ask you to enter your file name. So you need to give a file name for our particular code file, source code file. So let's say our file name is hello.c, and then press enter. Remember, all our C codes should end with .c extension. So I've created a file hello.c. I'm going to write all my codes into this particular file. So if you just minimize this, you should be able to see this file available in the my codes folder. Now let's assume that this program will be able to display a very simple message, hello world, in the screen. Okay, so in the screen it will display the message hello world. That's the job of this particular program. So let's get started. Now I'm going to write my very first C program. Okay, you may not understand each and every line of this code. That's okay. Just bear with me until the next video. In my next lecture, I'm going to explain in details the working of each and every lines of this particular code. Okay, so let's get started. So first of all, I'm going to write a comment here. Okay, so I'm going to write program to display hello world. Okay, I'm going to close this comment, and then I'm going to write something called as has include stdio.h. Do not worry, you may not understand about all these things. In my next lecture, I'll be explaining in detail significance of each and every line of this code. So I'm going to write void main, and let's say I'm going to write printf hello world. Okay, so this is my first code to display hello world in the screen. So I need to save this first, Ctrl S. Writing of source code is done now. Now I need to execute this. So before I execute or run my code, first of all I need to compile this code. Okay, so for that I'll open up a terminal here. Terminal is like a command prompt. So how do I open up a terminal? I go to my top menu, I click on terminal, new terminal. So if you just look at this, this is a terminal that's open for me. Okay, so let me just zoom this a little bit like this. So this is a terminal. Okay, now this is where I can actually write my commands. It is like a command prompt. Okay, so as I've already told you in my previous lecture that we are going to use a GCC compiler. Okay, so already that's being installed in my VS Code, configured in my VS Code. So first thing first is I need to compile this code. So for compiling this code, I'll write GCC space name of my program, name of my source file, that is hello.c. Okay, this should be the exact name here. So GCC is a compiler, so I'm asking GCC to actually compile my code that's available in the file hello.c. Okay, now if this process is successful, if the compilation is successful, it will generate an executable file. If it is not successful, it will give me the error message. Okay, so let me just hit enter. If you just look at the left sidebar in my Explorer, you see the new file has been created here, a.exe. This is the executable file. Okay, even you can minimize this, go to your my codes folder, you see this file, this is the a.exe file which you can execute, and this is the hello.c file which is our source code file. Okay, that means our compilation process was successful, therefore we got this executable file. Okay, now our job is to run this executable file. So step number 1, writing the source code was done. Step number 2, compilation is done. So after compilation, this a.exe is generated. Now we need to run this a.exe file, that is the executable file. How do I run? Very simple. In your terminal, just write // and name of your executable file, which is a.exe, which is available here, right here. Okay, so I just enter, and now you see this hello world message is displayed here. So this is how you are going to write your very first C code. Okay, I hope that you are clear on how to actually write, compile and execute your source code. Okay, this is the entire process, and this process is same even in Windows and even in Mac as well. Now let me make some changes here. Instead of hello world, let me write it as hi world. I have made some changes here. Save it. I have saved my program. So now how do I run my code? For running my code, I'll just write /a.exe, right? This is how I run my code. Now hit enter. You see still the output is hello world and it is not displaying hi world. Even we have already made the changes in hello.c source code file. Here hi world is written down, but hello world is still displayed. That means whenever you make any changes in your source code, you need to recompile your code. Okay, so that is called as the process of recompilation. So how do I compile my code again? So first of all, let me clear this terminal screen here. So to clear this screen, there's a command called as clear. It will clear all the terminal screen. Correct, clear. Okay, now you see that I've told you that I need to recompile this. So how do I compile it again? Simply write GCC space hello.c, name of the file. Enter. So it will now create a new a.exe file and it will overwrite the previous file. So this file that you see here is the new file that is created right now. Okay. Now I run this /a.exe and now the output is hi world. Okay. So this is how you actually write your very first C code, and this is how you actually compile it and then execute it. I hope you are now clear on how to write, compile and execute your very first C program. Stay tuned.